All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, I am Jonathan. This is my wife, Blakely. We are the owners of Digital Barbell, an online training and nutrition company helping people all over the world get in the best shape of their life. If you are new to our podcast, welcome. We put out 2 podcasts per week. We're active on social media, and we have a YouTube channel where we show not only training related stuff, and we host all of our video demos of different exercises that we program for our clients, but we put more of a personal stuff with our adventuring and our camper on there too. So if you've never checked that out, head on over. We've got a sponsor for today, and we've got an announcement before we get to the sponsor.
All right.
Enrollment for DGTL and under 45 is open. This is our 8-week workout program that can be done in under 45 minutes per day, and just 3 days per week with an optional 4th day. Why don't you tell everybody who this program is for?
This program is for anybody who wants to stay consistent over the summer. And that is the whole point of this program, is to get you in and out of the gym 45 minutes or less.
Yep.
I've been testing the workouts. I'm on week 5 of this 8-week program, and I love it.
You know, the thing I like most about this program is, since it's all dumbbell and band based, we're not competing for the equipment here in the gym space. I'm over here on the squat rack and you're over here in this area, and it just works. But
it's been working for us. It's summertime. We are here at our house and we're in our gym, or we're traveling in our RV, and I've been able to be consistent doing this program no matter what we've been doing this summer. And that's the whole purpose of this program.
Yes. And you know, basically the digital barbell training method combines strength training, bodybuilding, and conditioning all into one to give you the best results with each, without all the things that we don't think are the best parts of each one of those. And DGTL and under 45 still sticks to that same principle. You're going to get strength training, you're going to build muscle, and you're going to stay in cardiovascular shape in under 45 minutes and three workouts per week. It's only $147 for all 8 weeks, which is a crazy deal. You're going to be set up in our app. You're going to see video demos of exactly what you do for the workout for the day, all the different exercises that you're doing. You record your results. You can always reach out if you have a question.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And if you sign up before this Friday, the 21st of June, if you're listening now, we will send you a free product in your choice of those bands you use for like band pull aparts, band curls, stuff like that, or an ab mat to do sit-ups even better, or a jump rope.
Yeah.
So these are some of the pieces of equipment that you will need for this program. The whole list is on the website. It's not much. It's like, you don't need the ab mat, but it's a bonus if you want to do sit-ups with it. You don't need a jump rope. You can do jumping jacks, but jump ropes couldn't be in there. And you just need dumbbells and bands. So go to the website, digitalbarbell.com/quick for all the details there. And you also can see little screenshots of like what this actually looks like in the program in True Coach, how you get it delivered. But speaking of the program,
we didn't say when it starts.
Oh, it starts July 1st.
There you go.
So we just had a big group come in June, and they've been loving it so far. They're about 2 weeks in. So we're relaunching it in July.
Let's go.
Excited about it. Speaking of the program, leads to our sponsor.
All right, who you got?
Our sponsor is the theme of the week.
Okay. What is that?
So the theme of the week is something I have carried on from the gym I used to own, the CrossFit gym I used to own, into Digital Barbell and into these programs now.
Yeah.
So the theme of the week is, when I owned the gym, I would write the name of the workout, and I would like give clues to a theme. So each week everybody would compete to guess the theme first. You know, it could be an actor, it could be like a movie, it could be an artist. It's just various things. Like sometimes, like I think last week the theme of the week was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
It's just like something that pops into my head, and I will like name all of the workouts something related to this theme. Anyway, I've brought this into these programs. So we had, our previous program was called 8-Week Physique. That program was Taylor Swift theme.
Yep.
Every workout was named Taylor Swift, and I got some really good feedback on that. And it's super fun. The
DGTL.
The DGTL and under 45 is all 80s movies theme. It's been super fun to come up with. And the shirt I am currently wearing, if you're watching this on YouTube, leads you to a clue to the theme. So every week in the Digital Barbell programming that our current custom and clients go through, there is also a theme of the week, a weekly theme. This is your clue for next week.
If you're listening to this, her shirt says Marfa.
There you
across the
go.
front. Now you got me curious what the theme is going to be. I mean, I know what Marfa is, but what could that be a clue
All
for?
right, there you
Cool.
go.
Huh. All
So,
right. Well,
theme
we'll
of the
see.
week. So, I want more people to get on board with guessing these themes.
Yeah.
Guessing, like we have a Slack group going with our clients, and a lot of people are guessing there. But it's really exciting. So keep guessing. It's
All
fun.
right.
I get a lot of like personal messages where people guess, but
Yeah.
like yeah, it's fun.
Am I eligible to guess?
Yeah.
All right. Sounds
I
good.
always quiz Jonathan. Like after I write the workouts, I let him look, give it a little preview, and I'm like, also guess the theme.
Yeah.
This week, I think it's hard. That's why I'm giving a bonus clue.
All right, sounds like a plan. Well, today we have a special episode. I should have said this at the very beginning, but I interviewed one of my clients, Wayne. We have done a lot of these over the past. We put them on our YouTube channel under the playlist called 5 Minutes With. They always go on for more like 20, 25 minutes. But Wayne's a great guy. He is a commercial pilot. He had a heart attack at age 39 that kind of was a wake up call for him, both personally and professionally, that helped him change the trajectory of his fitness. That was quite a while ago that he had that heart attack, and he's in amazing shape right now. So we talk about what it's like to work together, his previous experience with working out, and how he stays on top of everything, and some ideas for how other people can too. So without any further ado, let's get into my interview with my client, Wayne. All right, in a typical week, today's guest might wake up in Illinois, be in Florida by lunch, be back at home on 9 at night the same day. Or he might leave home on Monday, be in Missouri till Wednesday, spend Thursday back at home, and then make a quick turnaround trip to Texas on Friday. Yet even with all that crazy irregular schedule, he is one of Digital Barbell's most consistent clients. So welcome to 5 Minutes with Wayne. How did I do on that description of a sample week, Wayne?
Yeah, it's pretty good. That could
I probably
definitely
got
be
the
the day.
cities wrong, but
No, the cities are fine. We literally go anywhere. Some weeks it's like that. Some weeks I don't have anything to do, so it's hit or miss.
yeah, well, I'll just brag about you real quick that you do. One of the reasons you're so consistent and successful with everything that you do with us is because you do such a good job of keeping me, your coach, abreast of your schedule so we can make sure we accommodate things. But that's jumping way ahead to where we're
Yeah.
at in present day. I want to get back and just kind of learn more about you so people can kind of identify with your story. So tell everybody what you do for a living and kind of how you got into that.
So I'm a corporate pilot. Flying airplanes is really the only thing I ever wanted to do. I remember thinking about it as a young kid and having zero idea how to get there. But then as I got older, you start meeting people. I had one friend in particular who was flying for United, and he was a really good mentor, and just wound up pursuing it after high school. And I've been super, super fortunate. I've had basically three jobs. All of them have been great. I've been with the company I'm with now for almost 23 years. So it's just been absolutely amazing.
That's so cool. So like, you want to do it as a kid, but like, what's the first step? Do you just like pay to take lessons?
Yeah. So for me, the first thing was flying a glider locally. I grew up in California near San Francisco, and there was a glider port that, not super expensive. You go out and get an introductory ride, and if you wanted to start training, it wasn't that expensive. And I did a little bit of that, and then decided that I wanted to pursue it, seriously. So I stopped flying gliders and then started learning to basically get your private pilot's license, which anybody could go out to a local airport and do. Um,
Mm.
and then from there, if you go beyond that, then you have to acquire certain ratings and get hours. And most places, at least with the airlines, most places are not hiring you until you have just roughly 1,500 hours. But I was lucky because this is back in the late 80s. So I got hired at, I think I had 500 hours when I got my first flying job, flying passengers. And I was 21 at the time, I guess. So yeah, it's just I've been super, super, super lucky. You know that we talk about
Oh,
it.
that's cool.
Yeah,
I bet you look young for your age right now, so I can just imagine like what your passengers felt like. They're boarding the plane, they see the pilot who looks like should be drinking out of a juice box or eating a Lunchable or something like that.
yes. So at the first job at the airline, as the first officer, I had to basically gather my people and then walk them out to the airplane. And so we'd be in the bottom of a concourse, and I'd have the airplane only held 19 people. So I'd have up to 19 people standing there. And until you could walk out and go to your airplane, you spark up conversations with these passengers. And it definitely had the comments about, you don't look like you're out of high school. And one lady even called me Doogie Howser because that was a popular show at the time.
I'm
But
45. I know what Doogie Howser is. Come on.
yes. So yes, it was a very, very common thing
That's
for people to
hilarious.
look at my age. But I think
You got the
most people
skills though.
understood. Yeah, I think everybody understood that if you were, wearing the uniform and flying an airplane with passengers, you have to have a specific amount of qualifications. So
Okay.
nobody
Yeah.
gets to just jump in from, being a junior in high school.
Right. Doogie Howser is a myth, like
Yes,
young Sheldon and that kind of stuff. So
yes.
you and I've been working together for I think about 10 months right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think I started in September.
Yeah. So, but when you joined Digital Barbell, you were certainly not new to working out fitness. You had other coaches, been working out for a long time. So tell everybody kind of what your background is with fitness.
So the place to start would be at 39. I was pretty much out of shape, wasn't paying attention to food. My family has a horrible family history with heart disease. And I found myself on a Tuesday night in the emergency room having a heart attack. And it wasn't a bad one. As a matter of fact, there was no intervention in the emergency room, and I wound up feeling better. But they made me stay overnight, do a stress test in the morning, and then so I spent the night, and they woke me up in the middle of the night to take more blood, and that second set of blood showed that I had had the attack, and so the stress test was wiped off the schedule, and then I
Mm.
actually went in for a cardiac cath, and they found a small blockage on the backside of my heart it was actually so small they couldn't do anything about it. They couldn't stent it or do angioplasty. So basically, the doctor was like, this is your wake up call. And for me at the time, being 39, I wasn't thinking about my health. The only thing I was thinking about was this is going to be a nightmare with my job because we have to maintain a medical certificate every 6 months. And I just knew from, people who have gone through it that when you go into a medical situation with the FAA, it becomes difficult. And long story short, I was off work for about 8 months and wound up, just doing whatever it took to get my medical license back. But in the meantime, knew that I had to do something about my health, and
Mhm.
started with basically it was really easy to get the trends moving the other way because my current status was so bad. So cutting out soda, really not doing much at a gym, but just going to the gym and literally walking on a treadmill.
Mhm.
Um, and, looking over at the weight room and being petrified to walk into the weight room because I knew nothing about it. But even with that being said, watching what I was eating and just changing a little bit of my habits, in about a year, I had lost right at 50 pounds.
Wow.
And so, I typically run in the 140s to the 150s, as you know, on my weight. So, my frame, my height was the same, but my frame, with an extra 50 pounds, I looked very different.
Yeah.
Um, so, at that point, going to that, it was just a global gym that I was going to. And, I just got completely bored and stopped going. And my wife was, she's like, you really still need to be hitting that gym thing. And, I just couldn't bring myself to go because I was just so bored. And, she knew some people that she was working with that had started CrossFit. And so she's like, well, why don't you check this thing out? And so I looked at their website. And the next thing I knew, I signed both of us up to go and take an introductory day. And long story short, that was in 2011. And so we've done CrossFit since 2011 very regularly.
Mhm.
I would say she probably stayed in a little longer than I did because I transitioned out of, not out, but just doing more weightlifting and trying to, build some more muscle. I had newbie gains when I was at the CrossFit gym, but, after 5 or 6 years, those start to go away or you don't really build on them. And so I wanted a different set of goals. And so I started to move away from a little bit of CrossFit and start supplementing that with some lifting without really knowing what I was doing. Which led to, a local coach here about 2 years ago. And at that point, completely stopped doing CrossFit and just did lifting. And then I felt like the lifting with him was good, but my conditioning was nowhere to be found. And so there really wasn't a good balance. But I didn't see stopping at that point, because it still felt like I was pursuing my goals at that point to get a little bit bigger, stay a little bit leaner. And then I think, with you guys, I had listened to a podcast. I think EC Sinkowski had mentioned on her socials that she was on your podcast, I think, and it was about over and underrated things in the fitness industry. And so I tuned into her, and it was you guys. And so, yeah, immediately liked what, you and Blakely were having to say. And the podcast was really good. And what I liked about you guys right off the bat was that it was just, everything was simple. And there was no, you don't have to be fancy. And, the shiny, whatever on the other side is probably not what you should be chasing. Master the basics is really the message I got from you guys quickly. And then, I knew that I was coming up on another year with ending another year with the current coach. And I just thought, well, maybe if I did something where, I would focus on the lifting, which is what you guys seem to do, but there was some conditioning mixed in there, and which I had been missing. And so, it wound up being an email to you and then a phone call. And I think I signed up right after that.
Yeah, man, that's a great synopsis. So, I mean, all along this time, like you're having to every 6 months have a checkup with the FAA to make sure that you're, still able to fly. That's a lot of pressure to stay in shape. I mean, but I also know you from, being your coach for so long, and know that there's this internal drive that you have to do better. So I feel like you're probably equally motivated by keeping your status, but also because you like the results that you get from prioritizing your health.
In the first 5 or 6 years, I dreaded it. I just absolutely dreaded it, because the FAA is so stringent on it has to be exactly this and it can't be that. But now, I mean, it's been so many years ago that it's really easy. I don't have any issues with the paperwork anymore or knowing what I need. So just the amount of time I've been doing it has made it easier. And yes, initially it was like I had to do this because I needed to keep a paycheck. But now the medical is so easy, and the fitness stuff, yes, I know it makes it easier to pass my medicals, but I would be doing the fitness stuff, like you said, without the medical.
I love that, man. And you've got goals, for your own fitness and body composition stuff. But I want to kind of talk about what's been different about, being indoctrinated into the digital barbell training methodology versus what you've done with CrossFit alone, and what you did with the trainer doing mostly weightlifting alone, and just like the results that you've seen and kind of what you think about the blend of how we go about things.
Yeah, so I mean, the results are easy. I mean, the goal for most men, I think, is to be, as big as you can be and be as lean as you can be. And so if I go back and look through the years, I know what the weights have been, and I know about what my leanness level is just by looking in the mirror. So what I've seen is a gradual increase in weight while I'm staying leaner, or as lean as I've been at lower weights. So, I don't need to get on a bod pod or do a DEXA scan to know that, this is absolutely working. And, if you're putting the time in and you're seeing the results kind of like in the mirror, or you're seeing that, a suit that you bought 7 or 8 years ago still fits, and if it is tight, it's tight in the right places. That's kind of the motivation to keep going.
Yeah. I think it's also cool because the gym that you work out at now is a CrossFit gym, right?
It is. Yep. It's the gym we've gone to forever. I have a access code that gets me into the door 24 hours a day. So the only thing they ask is, try not to be there during classes, but you have access to come into the gym and use all the equipment and do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty good.
I could do digital barbell programming at, the local gym that I was doing the lifting at a year and a half ago, but it's always crowded. You're
Yeah.
waiting for machines or you're waiting for barbells. If they're having a class, the class gets the priority. So it's just easier to be in a gym where I know, there won't be many people there. I still like seeing the people I used to do CrossFit with. That's the one of the things, if I'm missing anything, is just the group suffering that I think we all kind
Yeah.
of like. But I still see people, but I get my stuff done. Like this morning was a great example. I was up early and I was there by 7 and done by 8:30. The class starts at 9, so
Yeah,
it
that's
worked out
perfect. You
good.
still get to see
Yeah,
people. And that's
yeah,
also cool because, because of our style of training and having elements of CrossFit in without doing it every single day, which we don't feel like is, great for longevity. We've been able
yes.
to kind of retest things that you've done year after year after year in the 20 or the 13 years that you've been exposed to
Yeah,
CrossFit. So like
yep.
talk about how, kind of the things that we find with your overall fitness without pushing yourself to those limits so often.
So the perfect example is 2 weeks ago doing Murph. Murph has always been like my favorite workout. I for some reason I just love it. And so I've done it every year in CrossFit. Some years I've done it multiple times because, it's you and your buddies on a Saturday. What do you want to do? Okay, well, let's just do Murph because we can't think of anything else. And so this year, my time is always about the same. And I've typically always done the partitioned 20 rounds of Cindy, which is 5, 10, 15 in the middle. And I know what my time should be and I know about what I should be doing. But I also know that, towards the 16th, 17th, 18th round of Cindy, I'm pretty much dying. And then the second run, the first probably 800 meters of the second run is always just an absolute struggle. And this year, I commented to you that day that my time was basically what it always is. But I didn't feel like it was a struggle at all. It's hard. There's a lot of
Mhm.
volume in the workout, but I didn't feel dead, and I didn't feel that first 800 meters of the run. I didn't feel like it was, I can't wait for it to be over. So I think without focusing a lot of conditioning, since I've been with you guys, but and then you see that your conditioning is still kind of there. That not that it was a surprise, but it's good to see. It really is good to see.
I think a good thing to point out with that too is you're thinking back to all those years that you've done that specific workout. But remember, you're also getting older during that
Yeah,
process. So, staying at about the same fitness level as you are 11, 12 years older. I mean, how many of your cohorts can say the same thing? That's an awesome testament to your consistency overall.
yeah,
So
yeah.
big pat on the back
Yeah.
virtually right there for you.
Thank you, thank you. The consistency. Um, I don't want to pat myself on the back, but it doesn't feel like I need to be consistent. It just feels like this is just what I do.
Yeah.
Um,
Amen to that.
so it's just like I said, I would be doing this anyway if it wasn't for my medical stuff. So
Yeah.
um, it's not a struggle to go to the gym. It's not a struggle to be in a hotel and get down to the hotel gym and do something. One of the other things I like about working with you is that if I give you my schedule, I know you take what Blakely writes as the main part of the workout, and then you adjust it for what we figure is going to be in a hotel workout, whether it be a treadmill or dumbbells or the lack of barbells or boxes or anything like that. So it's really easy to just give you my schedule and then go to work and
Yeah.
do what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, you make it easy on me by giving me your schedule in advance. Modifying it is the easy part. You get the credit for getting in
Yeah.
there and doing the work. So, like you work out 5 days a week most weeks. Is there anything you can share with people that help you stay consistent, other than the fact that you enjoy it? Do you do anything on a day-to-day basis that makes it like reduces the friction to work out and follow your nutrition plan?
Uh, I, Now I would say for me, it's just kind of like on autopilot. But I think starting out, for people that are starting out, um, I think the mistake that people make is that they overcomplicate it. And motivation's great at the beginning because you feel like, well, I need to just do this, so I need to make it complicated, because complicated in most people's mind means it's going to be effective. But what happens is that 3 weeks in, and had a late night or something gets in the way, and then that motivation goes away, and then it's daunting to think about all of the commitments that you put on yourself to get in there and do this and be up at 5 in the morning, or whatever it is. So I would just say, if you're starting out, just be super, super simple and just
Mm-hmm.
figure out the basics. And it doesn't take a lot. Like if you were me at 39, it did not take a lot to move the needle the other way, because I was so far in the bad direction. So to go the other way didn't take drastic measures. It was literally just watching what I was eating, cutting out soda, drinking a little bit more water, and literally just walking on a treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
So
And the most important part of that whole process, which we talk a lot about on this podcast, is you had to start. That is the part
yeah,
people overlook. Like thinking about it doesn't do anything, talking about it doesn't do anything, hoping,
right,
wishing, planning. You just got to do something to get the ball rolling.
right. Right. That
Uh,
first day walking into that CrossFit gym was that, because, when I went to their website, the couple that ran the gym at the time, both extremely fit, and they both look like they've worked out their entire lives. And so you walk in there, and you see. I remember walking in, and there was four guys lined up against the wall, and they were all upside down doing handstand push-ups, and I was like, oh, oh my God, what is going on? There's no way I am going to be able to do this. And so I met with the coach in between classes, and we just talked. I didn't do a workout with him at that point. We went back in and did an assessment. I think it was the day later, and he's like, "Listen, just show up. Just show up. Everything is scalable." And I didn't really believe him at the time, but he was 100% right. Yeah.
it's so true. It
Yeah.
can be a little intimidating right off the bat, especially
Yes.
walking into a CrossFit gym. Okay,
Yeah, I'm
last
like upside
question.
down doing push-ups.
Yeah, or muscle ups on the rings or barbell
Yeah.
snatches. I mean, the list could get
Yeah.
pistols. The list could go on. So
Yes.
I think a lot of people listening to this, we attract a crowd that is already into health and fitness, obviously, but probably most of them have never worked in an online capacity with a trainer. They're kind of mystified about what is this going to be like. So just
Yep.
if you could just kind of pull back the curtain and give people a sneak peek as to what the process looks like, and how it has compared to anything else that you've tried.
Yeah. I would say,
Pros and
I
cons are
was,
fine.
yeah, no, I was apprehensive. That may be the wrong word, but I was unsure of what online coaching actually meant. Um, and how much back and forth would there be between me and you? But what it's turned out to be, and which I kind of realized even before we signed up, was that there'd be a lot of feedback and there'd be a lot of communication. Which here we are almost a year later, and I almost talk to you every day, via the app, and you're asking me to send you in videos, and sometimes our conversations back and forth after a workout, can last the rest of the day. Whereas before, like my first coach, it was literally you would check in twice a week, and you would get a little bit of feedback, and I was really just using him for nutrition. And then my last coach before you, who was a local person here in Bloomington, who's extremely, extremely sharp and really knows what he's doing, but there wasn't a lot of back and forth. I would get my uh, I would get a cycle of usually a 5 week cycle with movements, and you know I would record my stuff, and I assumed he was looking at it, and then I would check in with him once a week. How are you feeling? How's your digestive stuff going? And just a basic check in, and then a little bit with the nutrition stuff, but even with you being in Texas and me being in Illinois, I talk to you constantly So for me, the apprehension or the uh, not being sure what online coaching really meant, it's been an amazing experience. And you guys put out so much content, whether it's on Instagram or YouTube or your podcast, twice a week. I mean, so there's always something coming out of you guys, which is great.
Good. I hope that puts people's mind at ease about what it's going to be like.
Yeah,
Because I know I've downloaded like training apps, programming apps, whatever you want to call it, and you open up your workout and you're like, "Oh, this is it." Like, there's no
yeah,
relationship, there's no explanation, there's no
no,
accountability, all that kind of stuff. So
no.
good. It's good to
No,
hear
I mean, you
from
know
you
me
on that.
well enough now to know that when you're modifying the workout for me, like today was a great example, or was it yesterday with the dumbbell presses? And you didn't ask me, but you said, if your left shoulder is feeling good, do this weight. And so it's that kind of communication and that kind of understanding that we have back and forth, which is invaluable.
That's cool. Well, any parting advice you want to leave for anybody listening to this other than just start?
Well, just start for sure. I think when you're starting, also just realize that you're going to have bad days, and you're going to have maybe a bad week, or it could be a bad month. Um, but if you kind of go in expecting that, when you do get to those times, it's not going to derail you. If you know it's just part of the process, you can get through it and just keep going. That's the main thing. Is literally just keep going. And if you need more help, reach out for more help. Um, and the
Anybody
other
that's
thing
on
would
our
be just,
email list has heard that
yeah,
message over and over and over again about,
over and over again. Yes, yes, and keep it simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. The magic is really in the basics.
hmm If anything, it should not be complicated. Not even,
No,
just completely avoid complexity if you're at the beginning of this
yeah,
journey.
yeah. Whether that be with your, what you do in the gym, or whether what you do with your food, it really is simple. It's not easy, but it's
Yeah.
it's simple.
Well, thanks again
Yeah.
for your time today, Wayne. I think a lot of people are going to get some value out of this. So hope you enjoy the rest of
Thanks,
your day.
Jonathan. I appreciate it.
All right. Take care.